Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Albuquerque Aliens Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 25. So, in last episode, if you didn't catch it, we took on the Minnesota Wild in the second round of the playoffs, and we actually had a very good round, like way better than the first round, I would say, because the first round we actually got outscored. Well, in that second round against Minnesota, we definitely showed that we could actually play a good defensive structure in front of our goaltender could play good, and also we could have some good offense. So we managed to sweep them. We did have 3 overtime wins in that series, so you could call us a little bit lucky, but 4-3 win there, 5-1 convincing win there, then a 3-2 win and a 3-2 win. So Spezza only allowed more than 2 goals against one time in that series, and that was in game 1. So our offense maybe not doing the best as of late, but I would say our defensive play and goaltending has been a huge strength. If we look at players like Spezza and I think, just Spezza, basically, over the last few games, he has been a absolute brick in terms of save percentage and all that. There has been a little bit of problems, though, like I said, with the offense. I'll get to that in a second. But you can see with Trenton Spezza, if we go to his game logs, over the last 4 games he started, he has a .914 and above save percentage, which is a lot better than what he was doing in the first round and what he normally does during the regular season. So very impressed with his stats so far. Hopefully he continues that in this conference finals matchup that we have against the Kraken coming up. But one thing that has been a bit disappointing, like I said, has been the offense a little bit. If we go to somebody like Bradley Tuzolino, who should be picking up some good offensive numbers, we go to his game logs over those last 4 games against Minnesota. He had no points in that series, but we still managed to win, which is kind of a surprise. So got a little bit lucky that even though we didn't have our best defenseman scoring goals or picking up points, we were still winning games. Also, if we go to somebody like Jameson Bogosian and go to his game-by-game stats, you can see he had no points in that round, which is kind of concerning considering he's like a top 6 forward. So we need those type of guys to step up as well. Luckily for us, we did have a good series also from Josiah Staubitz. He was fantastic in that series. I don't know how much goals he actually scored, but if we go to the game logs, you can see in those 4 games, he had multiple 2-goal games. He had a total of 5 goals in 4 games. So without Staubitz, I don't know if we would have gotten a chance to win that series, but we definitely got some offense from some key guys. But other guys definitely decided to take the series a little bit off. Like Thomas Zetterberg was also good in that series, despite the low overall. You can see he had 3 goals in that series. So a couple guys did well. Other guys kind of just took the rest of the series off. Like basically between him and Staubitz, that's 8 goals for in that series, which is kind of interesting because as a team, how much goals did we score against the Wild? As a team, how much did we score? Because I'm curious if that's most of our goals right there. So we scored 4, 5, so that's 9, and then we scored 3 more, so that's 12 and 15. So we scored 15 goals in 4 games. 8 of them came from those 2 guys right there. So that means we only scored another 7 goals as a team. So it's literally like the same guys were definitely contributing most of that series. So I'm hoping that the other guys could get going a bit here in the conference finals, because if we could get stringed together 4 more wins, we could be in our first ever Stanley Cup finals, which would definitely be a lot better than I kind of anticipated for a season like this. But anyways, before we get into this series with the Seattle Kraken, let's get in your guys' comments, see what you guys had to say about last episode, and then I might actually take a look at the box scores from the regular season matchups, because we did look at the, I think just the calendar thing, and I didn't like to look at see who scored goals and stuff in those games, but we did win both the regular season matchups that we had against them. I just want to kind of see who was scoring in those games, so maybe we could better utilize them in this conference finals. So the first comment is from Michael Dose, who says, this coach may have to be the main reason why this team is playing well in the playoffs. Agree. And maybe, I'm not exactly sure, maybe it could be, like, he doesn't have the best team fit. He does have, obviously, a really good rating. Like, if we go to our coach currently, maybe the team fit changed a bit. I'm not too sure on that. Let's see. Like, Nielsen's a fantastic coach, good defensively, and helps us out defensively, so that could be the reason. 62% team fit isn't crazy. Like, normally when I'm seeing teams win Stanley Cups, the team fit is like higher than 62. I'd say like 65 to 70 is when you have a really, really good coach for your team. But so far, Quincy Nielsen has fit really well with his team, and for some reason, it doesn't even show his regular season stats with us. But with the playoffs so far, you can see he's 8-3, which this is his second furthest run, because he had some runs with Colorado early in this year. He actually won a cup with Colorado, so we technically do have a coach that actually has championship pedigree. But looks like near his end of his tenure in Colorado, he was struggling to win in the playoffs, and then eventually he left the free agency where he decided to join us. So he has been swept 2 times in the playoffs as well, but Maybe he could give us a Stanley Cup like he did for the Colorado Avalanche. That would be fantastic if he could do that. In the last and final comments from Sound Otaku, who says, Zetterberg must have known that you were talking about potentially replacing him, hence him stepping up this round. Pretty complete effort by the team, though the lack of production at all from some key players is a bit concerning. If Doi keeps on this pace, he'll probably win the Conn Smythe, even though I really should be Spezza's. And yeah, there is big concerns with the lack of production from some key guys, but at least we had some guys like Staubitz show up. So now if we're getting those guys like Bogosian step up in this next round and all that, definitely that will at least give us a bit more of a boost offensively, because if we're relying on only a few guys, that's when we're going to be in definitely a little bit of trouble. So hopefully we can get some other guys going. I don't know how Doig actually did in that round. He was mentioned about him being a Conn Smythe candidate. Let me actually map my face back on here. I almost forgot about it. I did wake up really late today. I woke up after 11 a.m. and I didn't really mean to. I meant to wake up after 10 o'clock, but I overslept and now I'm feeling way out of sync. And why is this flashing like this? EA? Okay, that's a weird glitch. Is it going to reset? Nope, that's still flashing. Okay, that's kind of weird. I don't really know if the game's going to break if I keep on hanging out there. So, but Doig anyways had 4 assists in that series, 2 multiple assist games, and some games with no points. Okay. But yeah, he's definitely a Conn Smythe candidate if we even get to the Stanley Cup Finals. But also, I think Spezza definitely deserves it because he's been the best player in terms of recent memories. So that's good. I think we'll definitely take a look at what we did against them during the regular season. I know we won both games, but I do want to see who scored in those games because I don't think I did that in the last episode. I could have maybe, but the first game I believe was it early in the season that we played against Seattle? To double check. I don't remember the exact dates. Oh yeah, here. December the 1st it said, and I think there was another one kind of later in the year. Oh yeah, December 1st, February 12th. Okay, so December and February. Let's go to December and February. Look at the box scores. So December 1st. So this is our first meeting against them, where we won 6-5. Let's take a look at who scored in that game. So Staubitz from Kim and Kolars. We had Doig from Staubitz and Peterson. We had Narena from Doig and Bogosian. Zetterberg scored actually against them, nice, from Kim and Kolars. Capaduca from Del Monte and Steen, and Staubitz from Kolars and Ristolainen. So the points were looking like this in that game. Staubitz had 3 points, Kolars had 3 points. So our top guys did well against them in that first meeting. But in general, we had pretty good depth scoring. Ristolainen was a -3 that night, so I guess our power play was just working really well. Huh, interesting. And then goaltending with Spezza was actually pretty bad against them in that showing. So hopefully he's good in the playoffs against them too, because that'd be good. And yeah, Staubitz was the second star in that game, but Matty Beniers and Shane Wright were pretty good against us. So hopefully that's not the case in this first playoff matchup. And then if we head on over to, what is it, February, I think it said? Yeah, I think I said February, right? Gotta double check here. This. I think it was the 7th, right? I was saying it? No, it wasn't the 7th. Maybe it was a different month. Oh boy. My brain is kind of scrambled because, like I said, I woke up way too late today and I don't know. It just feels weird. There you go. February 12th. 2-1 win. So a bit of a closer game, better defensive game too. So we were actually trailing after the first period, and then Staubitz scored his 31st. Kolars got the game winner. And late in the period too. Interesting. 3 stars in that game was Spezza, Kolars, and Narena. So Spezza had 1 good game against them, 1 bad game, but we won both of them. So hopefully Spezza has that more consistent effort in the playoffs against them. But anyways, I think we're ready to get to the series. I'm excited to see if we can get to a Cup Finals with this team, because this would be the first taste of action we get in the Cup Finals if we get there. But it's going to be a tough task if we do get to the Finals, because New Jersey's probably pretty solid. Florida, I would assume, still has some really good pieces over the years, but let's see if we can knock out the Kraken. Both of us have 8-3 records so far in the playoffs, and we're both kind of similar teams in a sense. I didn't actually show you guys their lines again, but if you remember, they're kind of like a up-and-coming team. There are some young guys on that roster that were drafted in the last few years. We're a team that's still up-and-coming, so it should be a pretty good matchup for our team to have in this conference finals. So here we go. Game number 1 on home ice. We actually did find ways to win on home ice last round, which is great because in the first round we weren't doing so good on home ice, I think. Let's keep that going in this conference finals if possible. First period, game number 1. 1-1, I'll take it. We opened the scoring as Peterson on the 4th line, beating Dag. Dag has been really good so far in the playoffs, so if we're going to get goals on him, we got to get them early, and then hopefully it rattles him a little bit, because he had like a 930 something save percentage going into this round. But Shane Wright answers back for them. Not really surprised that Shane Wright's going to get on the board because that top line was all 89s, so that's going to be definitely a tough thing for us to contain, but hopefully our team is up for the challenge. Shots are 13-10 in favor of Seattle. It's a 1-1 game. Can we get our lead back in the second period? Second period? 2-1 Seattle. Nishushkin, that's one of the other guys that's in that top 6. He's an 88 overall, former first overall pick a few years ago, and that's not great. I mean, so far Spets has been okay in this, but our offense is kind of like doing exactly what it was doing last round, where it wasn't scoring a ton, and we're kind of relying on specific people. Now, Peterson didn't score, I don't think, at all last round, so at least it's a different player, but we do need more offense throughout this team. Like, I might have to readjust the roster a bit so we get more goal-scoring support, but let's see what happens this third period, see if we can tie this game back up. Come on, boys. Let's tie it back up. I know we can score goals. Power play for us. We do not score on it. Come on, maybe another goal from Staubitz would be nice, because he's been fantastic as of late, as we saw. Can we find a way to tie this one up? Damn, Seattle's kind of playing to their strength right now, and Dixon gets another goal to make it 3-1. And unfortunately, we're going to lose game 1 by a score of 3-1, which was a good defensive effort, I'd say, for our team. Good goaltending effort. But that kind of plays more into Seattle's game because obviously we saw that Deg had a 930-something save percentage going into this round, and he made 38 saves against us in there. So we need to find our offense if we want to find a way to beat a team like the Kraken because their goaltending will just suffocate us, basically. Like, we opened the scoring in that game from Bell and Tuzolino, so Tuzolino picks up an assist after having no points last round, so that's also good, but they get 3 unanswered goals from their top 6, which is not good. Any minus players in that game? Probably not really crazy, I guess, right? All the rest of them minus 2s. It was the top 6, though, and also the top 6 pairing. Whitfield and Lee, huh? Whitfield and Lee. I do like them, but I don't know if it's risky to keep them in. Spezza played all right, so I'm not going to put that on him. But, yeah, Gabriel Deg's a different beast. We need to find a way to score on a guy like him. We just got to. So I already might make some adjustments just because our offense has been pretty flat since that 5-1 win we had over Minnesota. So I think I might already make some adjustments. Because if we lose this game, we need to win 2 games in Seattle, and that's going to be even tougher. Like, we did kind of get lucky beating the Minnesota Wild, I'd say, because of all those overtime wins, but obviously, we need to find a way to just win 4 games, and we could get ourselves in a cup finals, and maybe have a chance at a cup. Never know. So, I think I'm going to go Staubitz to the top line, because he was fantastic last round. Rick Kim has been a little bit disappointing as of late, I think. If I look at his stats over the last few games, he's got, like, 1 goal, 2 assists, but yeah, he has definitely not been as good as Staubitz has, so we'll drop him back down a little bit. Aside from that, I don't think there's anything I would change. Yeah, there probably isn't. I mean, I could change Doig and Capaduca if I really want to, but Capaduca hasn't done enough to get into the top 6, in my opinion. From a defensive standpoint, we're going to go back to Bell and Tuzolino, because that was always good together. And I can't really adjust this at all, because there's a minus, which kind of sucks. So we will have to keep Lee and Whitfield together, unless we want to call somebody up from the minors, which the only one would be Zach Kurd, but I don't really want to call him up yet because he was only a rookie this year in the AHL. He was fantastic down there, plus 54. Damn, I didn't realize that. All right. And then in the playoffs, he was a minus 7 through 3 games. That's actually kind of hilarious. So he was so good during the regular season, but then the AHL team just flopped off in the playoffs. Yeah, I don't think I would call him up, and then there's nobody else really that's worth a call up. Like, Ackerstrom's kind of getting close, but those are the type of guys I don't think I want in the playoffs. Gionta could come up if we really need a goaltender, but I don't think I really need a goaltender that much, so we'll just keep the rest of that the same. But let's keep the rest of the team the same. See if we could get back to scoring some goals again, because I'd say that's a solid defensive effort because we haven't allowed more than 3 goals against at all recently. Like, last time we allowed more than 3 goals against would have been this last game against the Blues. So we've been playing good defensive hockey for sure, but our offense now, like I said, over the last 3 games or so has been a bit inconsistent. So we definitely need to find that consistency. If we do not get goal scoring support, we're basically giving this series to Seattle because they're more of a defensively structured team. So we need a big win here in Game 2 if we can. And if we win this game, then at least we could try and steal a game in Seattle to kind of get redemption for them. And who knows, maybe come out with at least like a 2-2 series tie once we go back home. But first period, game number 2. Scoreless, I'll take that. Good defensive period, but we are being outshot 17-9, so we are giving up a lot of chances, but Spezza so far has been a brick wall in that. I'm glad that he's at least kind of finding his game a little bit here in this playoffs, but I do need that offensive support. We only have the one goal, and that was early in the first period of last game. So we need to find ways to score more goals if possible. Because I know that Gabriel Deg's good, but he shouldn't be that insane. Like, the defensive core in front of him wasn't the most crazy, I don't think, if I remember right. But let's see if we could find a way to break this deadlock in the second period and maybe have ourselves a chance to tie the series up. Second period. Okay, 2-1 us. That's good. We did score the first 2 goals of the game again, and they answered back. But power play goal from Ristolainen, and Dag scores, so we get a goal from Dag on Dag, which is funny. But this one is a different spelling, obviously, because, yeah, one's like more like Alexandre Dag. The other one's like D with the apostrophe. So, anyways, 2-0 at that point. Dixon then gets the Seattle Kraken on the board. Shots are 30-21 in favor of them. So far, Spezza's been really good. Hopefully, we can play good for him in that third period and get some insurance in this third period as well to make it a bit more safe. Let's see what happens in period number 3. This is a big period for our team if we can play good in front of Spezza. Come on, guys. We know that they're going to push, so we need to push back as well. We can't just sit back and hold on to this lead, I don't think. Final few minutes here of the third period, still up by a goal as my voice is trying to die. Try not to clear my throat because I know that's not going to be good. And we managed to escape with a 2-1 victory. So another really good defensive effort. Offensively, not so good, but we got outshot 41-27, yet we win 2-1. And we have tied the series up heading into Seattle. So they only took one of our 2 games. Now we need to take one of their 2 games at least. But that's a nice little response from our team. Like I said, not the craziest offensive game for our team, but really good defensively. So Ristolainen from Colars and Tuzolino and Dag from Bell. And then obviously Dixon scored for them. But Spezza has definitely found himself here in the playoffs. Maybe he is a playoff goaltender, not a regular season guy. It seems like that so far. Because the first 2 games of the series, he's been pretty good. This was definitely one of his best playoff games, I'd say, of his career. All right, so we have a 1-1 series. Who was the 3 stars? Spezza, the first star, not a surprise. Dag, the second star. Risto, the third star. All right, just got to put efforts like that together, but also with maybe a little bit more offensive punch, because we only had 3 goals in our first 2 games of the series, and we've only scored more than like 3 goals. Wait, more than 4 goals, I'd say, one time. Our first games against Minnesota were good offensively, but our offense has definitely died down. But I think this is probably the coach taking over and saying, hey, we're more of a defensive team, or we should try and be better defensively, because our coach is a defenseman coach. So maybe that's why we're having these good defensive efforts here and there throughout the playoffs. I think we got to keep the team the same after that, but hopefully we find some more scoring from our team and not from the Kraken, because so far it's been whichever goaltender is better, basically. Like, we barely escaped with the win there, but can we escape with 3 more wins? Let's head to Seattle, see what we could do in Game 3, see if we could take our first lead of the series. That would be nice if we could take at least 1 game on the road, so then we have a better chance to win. First period, game number 3. 2-1 Seattle this time around. So we scored first again, which is great sign. Kolar's opening scoring, but Beck answers back with 2 goals in the final 8 minutes. And we're being outshot 15-7, so I'm not even putting that on Spezza. We're just giving up a lot of shots early on. So we need to play better in front of Spezza and not give him so many shots on goal, because last game they outshot us. We were lucky to escape with the victory, but so far they're outplaying us again. We need to find ways to tie this game up in the second and also not allow them to score goals, because if they score any more goals, this is going to be a tough hill to climb in the third period if that happens. Can we find a way to tie this game up in the second period and also play good defensively in front of Spezza? Second period? Okay, we're still within 1. I mean, that's good. Rick Kim tied it up early on, but Dixon scores a power play goal. Unfortunately, we're down 3-2. This is the first time, I think, or one of the first times we've allowed more than 3 goals against, or 2 goals against, which is kind of crazy. So we are still playing fantastic defensively. But obviously, Spezza's not having his strongest game. Shots are 26-16, so they are outplaying us quite a bit. We're lucky to still be in it. Can we find a way to tie this game up in the third and maybe give Spezza some goal support, because he hasn't got a lot of goal support so far in this series. Let's see what happens in Pier 3. Come on, guys. Hey, Peterson ties it up. So Peterson's got 2 goals in the series. Good to see. We're getting goals from a lot of different lines. I feel like the fourth line's been the best line so far in the series, though, because Dag had a goal earlier in this series as well. So maybe the fourth line is doing the offense while the first line's kind of playing more defensive. I don't know. Final few minutes of this third period, and look at that. We're going to another overtime. We went to 3 overtimes against Minnesota, so we do have the clutch ability, but it's 1 goal to win, 1 goal to lose. Shots are 39-25 in favor of Seattle, so Spezza had a huge third period there to keep us in the game. We were able to capitalize and tie it up. That is huge, but do we have a game-winning goal in us as well? Who wants to be the hero? Who wants to be the hero? I'm trying to remember who scored game-winning goals for us already. I think Zetterberg did at one point. Stelbitz definitely did. Can't really remember who else has, but I hope that somebody that hasn't scored in a while comes and scores a goal. Like, Tuzolino has no goals in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. So if he could score a goal here, that would be nice to get him off the schneid a little bit and see if it could help spark the boys a bit. But let's see what happens in overtime. See if we could get that game-winning goal. Come on, boys, please. Penalty kill in overtime. I don't know who took that penalty, but Seattle's going to score. It was after the power play, apparently, but JBD gives Seattle the lead in the series as we lose 4-3. So our first overtime loss in maybe this entire playoff run, I'm not too sure, but we got outshot 44-26. We didn't deserve to be really in that game. Spezza definitely played great, but unfortunately we can't come through with a victory in that one. It was kind of back and forth, so that kind of sucks, but Kolar's from Ristolainen and Spezza, so Spezza even picked up an assist in that game. All right. And then we had Rick Kim from Doig and Arena, Peterson from Zetterberg and Tuzolino. But yeah, JBD's first to the playoffs is the game winner. That really sucks, man. I thought we would have maybe had a chance to win that game, but we did not escape with it. But yeah, we need more offensive support right now. Spezza has been really solid. Like, he's getting faced a lot of shots the last 2 games. Like, he's faced over 80 shots in the last 2 games. So we need to be better in front of him, not give him so much shots against. And we need that offense to be more consistent because we're now up to a total of 6 goals in 3 games. That's only an average of 2 goals, 4 per game, which is not good. So I definitely need to find some more offensive punch in our lineup a little bit. I guess, should we keep the team the same? I feel like we could have went up 2-1 in that game, but I also feel like we got completely outplayed, so maybe I do make still some minor adjustments. Just got to find a way to win another game here, and then we're back to square one again, because if we lose this game, we're going to be down 3-1, and that's going to be kind of tough. Kolar's on 10 points. We have Risto on 11. Feels like a lot of guys are kind of underperforming a bit, but I don't really know what I could do to address it. Should I get Capaduca into the top 6? I don't know. I don't think so. Let's get Doig to the top line. He's been maybe the best offensive player still. So let's get Kolar's on that second line with Kim and Bogosian. And then, yeah, Steen and the bottom 6 could stay together because it's been performing a little bit more as of late. Let's see here. It's okay, the plus minuses. And yes, Spezza has been really good, a 922 save percentage. So no problems with Spezza so far. Alright, I think that's what we're going to do. Just drop Kolar's, move Doig up. See if that helps spark the offense a little bit better because, like I said, the offense has definitely been the main problem so far. The defensive play and the goaltending has been good. We just need to find ways to score more goals consistently. Like, we haven't done that, like I said, since the first round. Because the first round is when our offense was actually pretty solid, but we were still getting outscored. And we are getting shut out in some of those games against the Blues. So we did actually show some of those type of games that we'd have later on. So we've always kind of struggled, I guess, a bit offensively. Just kind of interesting. But yeah, we need a big response in this next game because, like I said, if we lose this game, we go down 3-1, and that's not what we want. So if we could win this game, it'll be a best of 3 going forward. So let's see if we could win here on the road in Seattle. Tie the series up at 2. Just who wants to start scoring for us that hasn't scored in a while. First period, game number 4. 1-0 Seattle. Ugh. I don't like our offense still. We are being outshot 15-10 after 1. So Spezza probably on pace for another game where he's facing over 40 shots. And that would be the 3rd straight game. So I think we're just giving Seattle too much opportunities. And we're not giving ourselves enough opportunities or time with the puck at least. So Bruce Beckett with their only goal was a couple minutes in only. So afterwards it seems like Spezza kind of set in a little bit. But we do need our offense to find a way to score here. if possible. Because if we're not going to score a lot of goals, we need to play at least like really, really good defensively, which is kind of hard to against a team like Seattle that already plays good defensively. So can we have a good response in period number 2? Second period. Okay, there we go. We tied it up. Zetterberg scores. That's good to see. Zetterberg has been one of the better goal scorers as of late. So, like I said, he was good against Minnesota. He scores a big goal here to tie it up. Shots are now relatively even, 25-21 in favor of Seattle. So, much better second period, but we are still having a lack of offense from our team. If we find a way to escape with a victory here, that would be absolutely huge. And maybe we could get our offense going back when we're on home ice. I don't really know, but really, we are just running into a very tough defensive team, and our team's not good enough offensively to be able to score a lot of goals on them, it seems like right now. So let's get to period 3, see if we can get our first lead of the night. And I don't know who wants to score, but we need somebody to score and take charge here. It's going to be Doig. Opens the scoring in the third period, but Dixon ties it right back up. Not good. Whenever I think of Dixon, I think of Daryl Dixon from Walking Dead. Penalty kill. Nicely done, penalty killers. Late into the period, why are we going to another overtime situation? Is it going to be back-to-back OTs? Oh my goodness, not this Spezza, no. Beck scores with 1:38 left. Spezza was playing good again, and our offense was actually getting chances, but see, games like that, Spezza didn't play terrible, but our offense just can't find ways to score more than 2 goals for in a game right now. We outshot them 33-31. We end up losing 3-2. Another heartbreaking loss. And unfortunately, we have to win 3 straight if we want to get to our first Cup finals. Zetterberg from Peterson and Dag. Doig from Staubitz and Ristolainen. And of course, we saw that Beck was the game winner, and it was that top line. This is really tough for our team to actually score consistently right now. And I don't really know why. Because I feel like we have a good offensive core, but it's been so quiet. Like, Spezza had over 900 save percentage again, but he's not getting that support from our offense, it seems like. Because we're only still scoring around 2 goals a game. Which is not good, because, yeah, 2, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're not scoring a lot at all. That's not good. And we've lost 2 games by a score of 1 goal only. So, technically, at this point, we could be up 3-1, but our offense doesn't have the support. Like, the Seattle Kraken aren't taking a huge beating on us, but we're down 3-1 in a huge hole now to climb out of. I mean, if we do come back in this, maybe we win the Stanley Cup, but we need to find ways to score goals. We just got to. So we're going to need to make some adjustments here because we got to win 3 straight games. I don't really know what I could do to get this team to simulate better. It was nice to see Doig get on the board again. He's been definitely the best offensive player, I guess, but I don't know really what to do aside from that because I want guys to be playing in their natural positions, but I could throw people outside of their natural positions too. Zetterberg probably could be higher up than somebody like Capaduca. So we're going to move Capaduca to the 4th line. Zetterberg will get moved up. I could move Kim to the 3rd line, but I don't know if I want to do something like that. Yeah, I think I don't want to do that. So Zetterberg just getting some more ice time because he's been good as of late. From a defensive standpoint, let's go back to Tulipov with Tuzolino, and then it's Bell with Norena. And I don't think there's really anything else I could do here at this point to get rid of negatives. Yeah. We're going to have to just keep that top 6 pairing together. I mean, like I said, I could call up Hurd, but I don't think it's worth it at this point because he's not going to make the NHL till next season likely. But Spezza has been really good, and he's been keeping us in these games, but we just can't find ways to score consistently. So I think we got to keep the rest of this team the same. I could call up guys from the AHL, like there's Cashman and stuff like that offensively. But Cashman's a 2-way forward. He's just going to make us a stronger defensive team, which we kind of already are a strong defensive team, I guess. Hinnan's a 2-way forward. Like, there's not really anybody that could bring offense. Maybe Bure. But who would I take out of the lineup for Bure? There's not anybody here I would scratch, really. That's the only thing. Like, Zetterberg's definitely proven himself to be a guy that's in the lineup. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody worth calling up. Like, Bure could be a guy for us next season because we'll have injuries on, but, yeah, I don't think there's anybody I want to call up. Anybody scratch that I could call up? No. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody I'm going to call up for the playoffs. We're just going to have to run with this and hope that our offense finds itself. Because if our offense finds itself, then maybe we could find a way to back into the series. But like I said, very tough hill to climb when you're down 3-1. It would have been nice to take at least one of those games in Seattle. Like, if they didn't take our first game on home ice, at least it'd be kind of tied. But to lose a game on home ice and then lose 2 on the road, it's always going to be a very tough hill to climb for sure. So, yeah, we're going to keep the team the same the rest of the way and just hope that we could find our offensive touch. We got to win on home ice here. If we could take this first game on home ice and make it where we could have a chance to tie the series up, that'd be huge. So, just got to have a good offensive effort here on home ice, find a way to win, even if it's a defensive effort that we just barely win. Just give ourselves a chance to get back into the series. And then maybe we could start sparking our offense after that. So here we go. This is a big game. Looking to fight off elimination as we want to still get to our first ever Cup Finals. But it's going to be a lot of work here in this game. Ristolainen opens the scoring. So we have been opening the scoring in the series a lot, but we don't get the offense usually afterwards. Rick Kim makes it 2-0. So this is already maybe one of our best offensive games of the series, considering we've been averaging 2 goals for per game. But obviously we need to score goals in other periods, not just the first period. Staubitz makes it 3-0. So this is definitely going to be our best offensive effort so far against the Kraken. Maybe we could actually have a good game after this as well if we do end up winning this one. Shots are 15-6 in favor of us. So our offense definitely all of a sudden is just like, guys, we need to get back into it, and our top guns are scoring goals in this game, which is good. But obviously, we need to do it for 2 more games after this if we want to have a chance at going to the Cup Finals. So let's see what happens in period number 2. See if we could hold on to this lead and get some more insurance. Del Rio gets on the board for Seattle, but Staubitz answers right back. So Staubitz with another multi-goal game. He's been good in this one. Good to see him waking up. Dixon gets Seattle back within 2 again. I don't like that they're kind of hanging around a bit. Power play for us. Can we get some insurance? Yes, we can. Power play goal from Doig. And Bell scores too. So everybody's scoring in this game. This is the offensive team we saw in the first round that scored 7 in a game. Much, much better performance offensively. And we're still getting good goaltending, I'd say, for the most part. Actually, maybe not good goaltending because 2 goals on 14 shots. But at least we're not giving up a ton of chances. So that's a good sign. But hopefully we could do this in Seattle as well, not just for this one game only. But it looks like we're probably going to be going to a Game 6, which is great. Gives our team a chance at least to tie the series up. And then if we go to a Game 7, it's literally anybody's series at that point. Richie gets Seattle on the board again. It's 6-3. At least our team came out with a little bit of resurgence in it. Like, I don't know what shot the fire under their ass, but it's been a good game so far. Nishushkin makes it 6-4. 7-4 Kapaduka, the empty netter. And yeah, that was still a close game, but we managed to at least get our goal scoring support. Like, it seems like when our team's good offensively, we forget about our defensive game. When we're good defensively, we forget about our offensive game. So it's a bit inconsistent, but a great effort from this team in that one in terms of goal scoring. And that's what we need kind of if we're going to beat Seattle, because they can't have that goal scoring support, I don't think, like we can. So Ristolainen from Staubitz and Doig, Kim from Bell and Bogosian, Staubitz from Ristolainen and Doig, Staubitz from Tuzolino and Ristolainen. We had Doig from Bogosian, Bell from Steen and Doig, and Kapaduka from Kollars and Bogosian. I didn't want to go to Seattle stats, but oh my goodness, I think I just saw one of their players was a -5. Yeah, their top line got completely shredded in that game. At least Beck did, and Beniers, and Shane Wright a little bit too. But it looks like Jake Bean has returned from injury, which I almost completely forgot about. But we destroyed them in that game. Absolutely destroyed them. Doig had 4 points. Risto and Bogosian and Staubitz all 3 points. Bell on 2 points. A couple guys with 1 point. And then the plus-minus. Really good stuff from some guys. Really bad from other guys. And then Spezza had his worst game in a while. So yeah, I guess technically if we want to win these games, we got to just basically forget about the defensive play. Or else we get trapped a bit. Doig the first star, Staubitz the second star, Risto the third star. The question now is, can we have consistently good offensive efforts? Because I think I'm going to keep the team the same after that, even though it was a bit of a lackluster defensive performance. Let's keep the team the same, and if we could find a way to win this game in Seattle, we could go to a Game 7 where we have a chance still to go to the Cup Finals. So I feel like one of these teams might lose 3 straight games. I don't really know, but I'm not too sure. Florida's up 3-2 on New Jersey at the moment. If we could find a way to rally back from 3-1 and win the series, I think we definitely win the Stanley Cup somehow, because that's, I'm pretty sure, how usually it happens, is when you lose 3-1, or you're down 3-1 in the conference finals, you come back to rally, then you end up like sweeping in the Cup Finals, because I think we've seen that before with other teams, but I'm not too sure. So anyways, let's get to game number 6. We'll keep the team the same, see if our offense can do what it did last game, But hopefully we get guys like Stowitz showing up again, because Stowitz was fantastic last game. It'd be nice to see him continuing to do that here. We have not been able to score a lot of goals in Seattle so far, but we lost those games only by 1 goal. So we could have technically won the series by now, I feel like, at this point. But kind of luckily, I'd say, as well, just like that last round. But let's get to Game 6, see if we could tie the series up at 3 apiece. This is a big, big game. Come on, boys. Got to win on the road. Just got to show up what we did last game. Doan opens the scoring for Seattle. It's not great. Do we have a response to it? No, we do not yet. It's definitely tougher to beat them in their own building than it is on home ice. Power play goal from Bogosian. Good to see him back on the board with a goal. Because, like I said, he hadn't really done much since that, I guess that opening round it was. But anyways, 1-1 after 1. Shots are 14-9 in favor of the Kraken. It's a good defensive game so far, but I don't know if that's going to play into the Kraken. But I hope that we can find a way to get our offense going like last game. Because 7 goals in that game, fantastic. But we gave up 4 goals against. So it's about, I do like these good defensive efforts, but I also want our team to be able to score more than 2 goals per game. So I'm not really too sure what I want to lean towards. But let's have a good second period here. Get our first lead of the night if possible. Come on, guys. I believe in yous. Even like guys like Mark Degg, maybe he could find ways to score some goals in these games. But anybody on our roster, I'd like to see score. Penalty kill. And we killed it off. Nicely done. Power play for us. We do not score on it. Late into the second period, still deadlocked at 1. Oh no. Spezza gives up a late goal in the second. We're down by a goal going into the third. I thought it was going to be tied, but Shane Wright has other answers for that. God damn, that's not good. It's playing into their defensive structure, which I don't like. Shots are 25-19 in favor of the Kraken. We're only got the 1 goal, so the offensive inconsistency still showing, but we're still in this game. We're still in this series. If we find a way to win the third period, we go to a Game 7. We have a chance to go to the Cup Finals. But we need that offense that we got last game. Let's see what happens in period 3. Who wants to get us back on the board again? Penalty kill in this third period. And they get a power play goal. Shane Wright's taking over. Benier scores. This series is over. Okay. Well, I see how it is. I see how it is, boys. We're literally down by only a goal. And then we give them a power play like that. And their top 6 takes over. And now we're not getting that offensive support we did last game. Unfortunately, we're going to be losing in the conference finals in 6 games in 2035 or whatever years this is. But it was a great run from this team. But the wheels definitely fell off a bit. And when we played against Minnesota, we could not score consistently. We still won games. And in games against like a team like Seattle, it's tough to win games when we're not scoring. Bogosian from Doig and Del Monte. Yeah, we fell apart late in that second. And that transitioned over to the third. So their top line basically took over. And unfortunately, we're packing our bags already. It was a good run, though. Good season, I'd say, for the most part. But obviously, we do still have a lot of work to do. It seems like Shane Wright gets first star, Dag the second star, Doan for them. Is there any badly minus people in this game? Probably, right? Oh. The pair of Bell and Norena, -3 apiece. That's not good. That's not good at all. And Spezza added 882. Yeah, Spezza fell off a little bit over the last few games, too, which is not what we wanted. If Spezza played good like he did in the first 2 games, we could have had a chance to win, too, but we also needed that offense. Like, we only scored more than 3 goals, or 2 or more goals 2 times. And it was that overtime loss, and then it was also this game that we won. That's tough. So it's going to be a Seattle, Florida Stanley Cup Finals in was it 2035 or 34? I think it was 35. Yeah, 35. Damn. Let's take a look at our player stats and wrap up the season, but we still definitely have to work on structuring our offensive play a little bit better. I don't really know exactly what this team needs because I feel like we're building up a good enough team, but it's the inconsistencies that are the problem right now. So in terms of our player stats, we had Risto on 15 points. Bogosian was on 15 points. He's a pending UFA, so I'm a little bit worried about this offseason coming up. Kim on 12 points, -7 for Rick. Kim. That's not good. So we did have some guys really not doing well defensively. We had Peterson on 6 points. Steen on 4 points. Only 1 goal in 17 games for Stefan Steen after he had, how much during the regular season? 23 in the regular season. That's not ideal. That's not ideal. I mean, he could be in the top 6 next year if we lose to Bogosian, though. Left wing side, I think Kolar's on 11 points. We had Del Monte on 11 points, only 2 goals. Capaduca on 4 goals. He was not good in the playoffs. He was not good in the playoffs as well. 28 goals in the regular season, only 4 in the playoffs. So our depth definitely fell off quite a bit. Indeg with 3 points. Right wing side of things, Doig had 20 points. He was really solid. Stubbatz had 11 goals, 14 points, and Zetterberg had 5 goals and 6 points. So yeah, we didn't really get the goal scoring support on the offense that much. Like, if we go to the goal leaders, Stubbatz had 11 goals. Then it drops off by 5 goals to Kim. Then you had Risto, Bogosian, Zetterberg all with 5 goals. A couple guys with 4 goals. But afterwards, it's just like guys on 2 goals and 1 goal. So yeah, our offense wasn't the best for sure. We did have some good offensive games, but and then defensively, Tuzolino on the 9 assists, no goals for him, but still solid playoffs, I'd say. Rain on 7 points, -4. Bell 6 points. Tulipov was good defensively. Whitfield didn't really do much as an offensive defenseman. Lee was not bad, but eh. And then from a goaltending perspective, Spezza had a .915 save percentage. He was a bit inconsistent near the end, but I'd say he gave us a pretty good effort this playoffs. Is it worth a big extension? I'm not too sure on that, though. Because definitely, yeah, against the Kraken, he actually had a tough time by comparison to the last round. Like, he had a 3 goals against average almost every single game, except for, like, the second game. So, yeah, we definitely need more consistent effort defensively and offensively. I think defensively we gave it to our team good, but offensively, eh. Like, we only had 1 guy over point per game, and then everybody else was way under point per game. And we had some really bad plus-minus results as well from some guys like Kim and Arena and all that. So there is definitely work to do, but I'm not really too sure on what we need to do at like the draft and all that stuff. So there's that. Also, Staubitz is a pending free agent too, but I am definitely going to try and re-sign him. He's definitely more of a priority than Bogosian is, as I'd say, but I feel like he's going to want to get paid a lot more than that. So let's continue to simulate up to the draft and all that stuff. I know this episode might be a little long, but we got to wrap up this year. See if what players are wanting. Florida ends up winning the Stanley Cup, so we don't even lose to the best team in the league, but that's all right. Let's go to see those. What was it? How much games was it into? 6? 7 games. So Seattle almost won the Stanley Cup, but they did not. Let's see those awards, though. So Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup champions. Utah wins the President's Trophy. Seattle Florida Cup Finals. Austin Matthews, the Art Ross, and the Hart. Quinn Hughes, the James Norris. Matthews also wins the Lady Byng. I don't remember this guy's first name, but Hernandez in LA wins the Calder. Matthew Tkachuk, the Conn Smythe. Ivankovic, the Vezina. Yoel Blomqvist, the William M. Jennings. We have, I don't even know this guy's first name. Jay Smith. No idea, but he wins the Bill Masterton. Kopitar wins the Jack Adams. That's actually kind of interesting. Was not expecting Anze Kopitar to be a head coach in Toronto, but here we are, apparently. Robert Thomas to Selke, Austin Matthews to Lindsay, and the Richard. So I guess Kopitar is doing a good job at coaching Austin Matthews or something like that. In terms of the AHL, anybody that I recognize? Probably not. Oh, Gardner. Gardner was the best defenseman in the AHL. That's interesting. I don't think he's good enough for the NHL, but that's good to see. That's not our Del Monte, so I don't care. All right. So that's all good and ready to go. Now the question is all the draft stuff, obviously the progress reports, contract negotiations potentially are like if we might have to give an extension to Staubitz relatively early on. Like I'm kind of scared how much he's going to be asking for as the Islanders win the draft lottery, followed by Vegas, Detroit, Calgary, and Winnipeg. All right. In terms of retirements, do we have any huge retirements this year? Guys that we won't have to worry about playing against at all? Nathan McKinnon. Damn. McKinnon retiring in Washington of all teams. So McKinnon, Aho, Nylander, the big names. DeBrincat, Connor. Some pretty big names. Pretty big names. No Austin Matthews, though, which is disappointing. Defensively, let's see what we got. Philip Hronik's the best. Zach Werenski, okay. Not as good in terms of defense. Goaltending, Carter Hart retires. Who cares about him, though, because he's a piece of shit. UPL, Soderblom, and that's pretty much it. Okay. So those are the retirements for 2035. We do lose a coach, which is probably a goalie coach because you use them all the time. Vaclav Tadicek. We also do lose a couple coaches in the AHL. Rory Henderson might have been actually the the head coach. Travis Riddle was a coach in our NHL team at one point, and he's also retired in the AHL. So our AHL team needs 2 new coaches. Our NHL team needs maybe a new goalie coach. And then we got some draft interviews. I don't think I'm going to look at the draft interview part, but we are obviously going to go to the normal thing to take a look at what this draft class looks like. But first, let's take a look at progress reports, and then we'll look at the draft class. Then we'll look at the contract situation, because that is going to be very important for the season coming ahead. So looks like some statistical. Steen on some statistical, some natural. Kind of surprised on some natural growth. Hector Cashman, though, should be in the NHL lineup next season. Maybe we do like Bogosian in that sense, though. But, there is a chance I actually could like Bogosian. Steen is actually listed as a second-line center now. I know he's on a lot of statistical, but Risto would be first. Kim's obviously going to be a winger. Then we'd have Steen, Peterson, and Cashman could be fourth line. Maybe we do let go of Bogosian. It really depends on what he's asking for. I do really like that guy, though. Kolar is on 91 overall. Okay, Del Monte is an 87 now? Huh, kind of surprised on that. Capaduca is up to an 82, but he is now 27. A lot of statistical growth. Some natural growth, though, to his shooting, which is nice. Dag's up to a 78 still. Oh, statistical drop-off. Not great. Lambert's still a 76. He's probably close to the NHL. Right wing side of things, Staubitz up to an 89 overall. This is a first-line forward. Mostly statistical, but his shooting is getting better, too, so that's nice. He is 29 years old now, though. And in Doig, a little bit of growth. Defensively, Tuzolino up by a little bit. Norena's up to an 83, probably statistical. Yes, some natural growth to his agility and balance. All right. Tulipov up a couple points. Oh, boy. I wonder what in the system, though, because we do have some good prospects down there. Giunta should be technically our backup goalie next season, so I think he'll be in. He's actually jumped up in potential to medium elite from high starter, which is kind of surprising. So, yeah, Jason Giunta might be our backup next season. Semenov might be back in the AHL if we even hold on to him. And then I think Dalcoli's time here is probably running out. In the system, what do we got here? Yeah, Semenov and Dalcoli both probably can leave because we do have elite goalie prospects that could get signed. Like Harakala could get signed for sure this offseason. And then we could run him and Ollie in the AHL. Mathers is still a few years out, probably. From a defensive standpoint, Lee's still only 76. Hurd's a 75, but might be ready to go. Mahalik, the low leads up to a 70. That's impressive. He could probably play in the AHL next year, too. Yeah, we're getting some growth from our defensive prospects. Some of them are taking a little bit of time. Dwayne Sagan's up to a 58 as a low lead. Okay. What about offensively? Enroth up to a 76. Doig in the AHL, the low leads up to a 66 at 18. I'll take it. Hennessy, the medium leads up to a 66 at 21. That's not ideal. Delisle, who we drafted last year, is a 76 at 19 now. I don't remember what he was before. I feel like he was the same thing. But his shooting's getting better and all that. He's also not AHL eligible yet, so I don't know about giving him his ELC yet unless we want to play him in the NHL. Bure's still a 76. Milasha's 70 at 20. Okay, looks like we're getting some good development. Peterson's a 69 at 23. Durant 67 at 20. Centers, Heatley's up to a 73 at 23. 68 at 20 for Corso. Okay, it seems like some guys are growing. Not really too sure on who's going to be in the NHL team next season, but that's that. Final few things we got to take a look at. The draft class. Where are we actually drafting first and foremost? Like what overall? 31st. 31st. That's quite late. Let's take a look at this draft class and see what we could potentially snag up in this year's draft. Sucks that we didn't get through the Cup Finals, but hopefully we can find something we need to make us a better team. Because we know we do still have work to do for sure. Let's see what we got. So, round 31, Tyson Linden's going to likely go before our pick, but he's medium 9, so it doesn't matter too much. Charles Stevenson doesn't look good. Is there anybody that looks insanely good that we aren't expecting? Looks like medium 9s and medium 6s, which is not good. Might mean a very weak draft class ahead for our team. We might have to take somebody off the board. There is a medium 4 gem in Kavasha. I probably would rather take him, obviously, than the medium 6s. This guy's also a gem in Rodrigo Adamski. probably a top 6 forward. There's also this guy who's a gem, Renee Bonnet. I wonder if there's any guaranteed low elites. Let's see. Any guaranteed low elites or medium elites for later rounds? Medium elite goalie, we already pinned him a couple episodes ago, I guess. Prusak's medium elite goalie. I don't really need medium elite goalies, though. Any low elites? Let's see. Yes. Elliot DeVoe. Low elite 2A defenseman. That's nice. Not a first round pick, but he's 20 years old. Could have a good starting overall because of that. Maybe not. But yeah, these are the type of guys we're going to draft. The low elite enforcer as well, of course. Evan Patrick. I got to draft this guy. Forgot about him. This guy could be a low elite sniper. No guarantees, though. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like the strongest draft class, to be honest. So I don't think we're going to really get anything huge for our prospect pool. But hopefully we can find some steals here and there sprinkled in through the drafts. And final thing I need to take a look at, which I don't really want to take a look at, is how much these guys are going to cost us in the offseason. Because Stowitz is the big one. Rick Kim also is an RFA. I almost completely forgot about that. He's going to cost a bit too. But you have Bogosian and Capaduca, both pending UFAs. Peterson's an RFA, at least Dag an RFA. Like, we definitely are going to be spending more money this offseason, which kind of sucks. So first and foremost, how much is Stowitz going to be looking for this offseason? He does want an extension, which is nice. Oh my. He doesn't want a clause, but he's willing to commit to our team for 8 years if we give him $11.5 million. That's not really that expensive when you think about it. I don't think that's that bad. He did show up in the playoffs quite well too. I honestly might be willing to do that. He does have a lot of organizational interest, so we could probably even drop this down a bit. But I need your guys' feedback on what we should be giving to Stowitz. I think we could probably drop this down a little bit just so it gets down to like 2 bars below, because I'm pretty sure if you have a lot of organizational interest, you guys said he could drop off the contract quite a bit. So you could probably, if you could drop it down by like 1 bar and maybe 10.3, if you could drop it down by like 2 bars, maybe we could get him to accept a crazy deal like 9.5. 9.5 would be fantastic, but I don't know if he'd accept that, but we could definitely try it. So I need your guys' feedback on that. Rick Kim, we know, is a pending RFA, so I could just qualify him, but he's going to be costing an arm and a leg. He wants $8 million. Does not have a lot of organizational interest right now, so will be tough to talk him down a little bit. He has no interest in an 8-year deal at the moment. Okay. And then you have Bogosian, who's the pending UFA. He wants 8.85. He does have actually a lot more organizational interest than he used to, but that's kind of expensive. I don't know if it's worth it, because he could honestly just drop off in production all of a sudden. Like 79 points this year. He's usually a good 40-50 point guy, but do we need him back? Do we need him back? Capaduca, what is he asking for after 28 goals in the regular season? $3 million bucks. That's not terrible. I could probably hold on to him for a price like that. And then Peterson, Dag, and all those other guys are not going to be too expensive. So the only ones I'm worried about is Stowitz, I'd say for sure. Bogosian also, it would be nice to get him back, but I'm not too sure if I'm willing to drop that much amount of money on him. Rick Kim's easily going to come back, but he's also going to be a tough one to negotiate with long term. And then Capaduca should be cheap enough. We should be able to have mostly everybody return, except for also their Spezza, who's a pending RFA. I forgot about this. How much is he now trying to get? And I can't even see, because it says that I offered him a contract when I totally did not offer him a contract. Maybe because he was an RFA throughout the offseason and stuff like that. That's probably it. So in the offseason, I guess when we get to the re-sign stage, I'll have to see how much he wants. But how much do you guys think Spezza's worth? Do you think we should give him a long-term contract or try and wait until we have other people in our system take over? Because Spezza's probably getting closer to being a pending UFA. And so far, his regular season numbers haven't been good. His playoff numbers have been a bit inconsistent at times, but he's been relatively good in them. So we definitely need to make a decision with that too. Oh man, I'm surprised that Stowitz doesn't actually want a clause in his contract. I know, I'll take it though. I'll definitely take it. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Albuquerque Aliens Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the 2035 draft in offseason. Obviously, we're looking to maintain our roster as much as possible within reason, within the cap space situation. And also, hopefully, we could get some good prospects into our NHL team next season, like Cashman could jump up. And hopefully, that's what this team kind of needs to just like improve offensively and defensively a bit. Because obviously, like I said, I think sometimes we're really good offensively, but we sacrifice our defensive play. And then when we're good defensively, our offense is nowhere. So we need to find that consistent balance in between the two. And then I think our team could definitely win games more consistently in the playoffs. So I think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.